Amp modeling sure has come a long way, and the things that you can do with some of these multi-effects processors is just insane. Now, since the popularity of these things have only increased over the past 10 years or so, we're now getting more budget-friendly units, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of them, the Arena 2000 from Donner. It's no surprise Donner has entered into this kind of market because they do with everything else, and some of it very, very well, may I add. I've demoed tons of different Donner pedals and guitars, and some of them really, really surprised me, especially for the price. So when they sent this over to me, I was really, really excited to check it out. So I'm going to review and demo this amp modeler for you, and by the end of this video, you're going to have a better idea if the Arena 2000 is right for you and your sound. So this thing features 150 presets, 80 high-res amp models, 50 built-in cab IR models. The IR, or impulse response, is 23.2 milliseconds. It has a total of 278 effects, a multi-function control and expression pedal, built-in drum machine, MIDI ins, mobile app control, and much, much more. Now, those are the things that I think are the most important and the things that you would most likely use it for, but this thing really has tons of different details and super, almost secret features that you can really build a cool sound with. Now, what would be the point of me reviewing this thing if I weren't going to demo some sounds for you? So let's now check out some of those presets and hear what they sound like. Now, if you like certain aspects of a specific preset, except for maybe one or two things, or you want to add something, you can adjust different effects. You can adjust the levels of those effects. You can swap out or reorder the effects blocks to whatever sound you are trying to achieve. So out of those 150 presets, you can pretty much get an infinite amount of different sounds, combinations of amps and cabinets, different effects like reverb, delay, and all that. Now I'll eventually show you what all the amp and cab sims sound like, but right now I want to show you all the controls that are on this thing as well as all the different plugins. So to start, we have 3 different foot switches that can be programmed and used for a bunch of different things. I'll talk briefly about that a little later. We have 5 knobs that are adjust the parameters of the effects. We have a headphone volume knob. This is great if you can't be loud. And then we also have an output volume as well as XLR volume knobs. Then we have the effects block buttons. That allows you to turn on different effects like drive, compression, delay, reverb, and amps, cabs, and all that. Now on the right side here, we have other controls for settings, drum loops, expression options, looper, tuner, and just other controls like that. Now all these are actually touchscreen, which is super, super cool. And we have a few others. We have a back button, a home button to take you back to this screen. And then we also have 2 touchscreen arrows to go right or left in certain options. And then to finish it off, we have a valve knob. This just goes through all the different presets, amp sims, cab sims once you get into those settings. And then we have an expression pedal that I'll talk a little bit more a little later. Now on the back side of it, we got XLR output jacks. Then we got a lift switch for controlling whether the XLR balanced output is grounded. We got a USB-C. You can update the firmware and do a bunch of other cool things. We have headphone and aux in jacks. Then we have another expression pedal jack. Now this is if you want to use your own. Now you can also use the one that's on this thing as well as your own to do a bunch of other really cool things. And I'll briefly talk about that in a second. Then we have output unbalanced LR jacks, an input for your instrument, a MIDI in, a power switch, and then a 9-volt power adapter jack. Now it's got everything you would expect for something like this to have, especially for a budget-friendly model. So going back to that expression pedal, you can use it for a few different things. You can use it as a wah pedal, a volume pedal, or a dual foot switch when you connect in another expression pedal in the back. Now, finally moving on to the main things that you guys want to hear, the amp and cab simulators. I'm gonna run through a bunch of different combinations so you can hear how they sound and show you what this thing is capable of. Now for both the amp and cab sims, we pretty much just have Fender style amps, Marshall style amps, Vox style amps, and all those ones. Now I will admit some are a little better than other ones, but that I might be saying that because I know what exact tone that I want, so I know what I need, and the other ones that I don't really use, they might not sound good to me, but for you, they might sound great. Now, another super cool feature on this thing is the drum machine. You can select from a bunch of different rhythm types, you can change the tempo, and you can also use the looper with this feature. So there you go, the Arena 2000 from Donner. Now I think that this thing for the price is a great entrance into the amp modeling world. And if you need something that gives you tons of different sounds and options and you're on a budget, then this thing might be for you. Now also, if you're not on a budget, but you could save a couple bucks and pay for something else, I think this thing holds up to a few other ones on the market. Now clearly something like this is not gonna hold up to an amp modeler that costs around $2,000. That's just pretty obvious. And plus the more expensive models do much, much more that this thing does not do. Now some of those things are very extreme in those more expensive ones, like you can copy the exact sound out of all the tube amps you have and all that different kind of stuff. So if you're not looking to do that, then I really wouldn't worry about it. It's also a great alternative to both loud amps like tube amps if you can't play loud, and you can just plug in some headphones and you're good to go. And it's also a better alternative price-wise because some of these amp modelers go anywhere between $700 to $2,000. The $2,000 could be a little bit more or a little less. I'm kind of just playing in a ballpark. Now, after learning more about the Arena 2000, what are your thoughts on it? And if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Now, if you want to check this thing out for yourself, you can actually use promo code MATT at checkout for a discount. The link to all that information is down in the description. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these kind of videos, then consider hitting that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.